Okay, so here's authentication. So let's try this. Make this bigger. All right. So there's the lab. I'm going to launch the lab. And okay, so now here we've got usernames and passwords, and we're going to do a brute force attack to get in. So we have 100 usernames and 100 passwords. And I'll open them in a separate tab so we got them. Here's the usernames, Carlos, root, and admin, and so on. And here's the possible passwords. I got to refresh the page. It didn't respond. Okay, there we are. Various passwords. Okay. So, to solve the lab, enumerate a username, brute force the password, and access their account page. All right. And so, we're going to find the login request and go to the username parameter. All right. And go to burp intruder. And we'll leave the password as a static value. Okay. So, let's start here. We start with the page, which is here. And we want to get to the login. So that's here, my account. And here's where we can log in. So I'm going to go to burp and clean off the old stuff. So I go to proxy, history, and clear history. Okay. And now I try to log in. I'm just going to put an A for username and an A for the password and log in. And so, of course, now here's the first clue. It told me the username is invalid, so it didn't check the password. So that means instead of having to do 10,000 requests for 100 usernames and 100 passwords, I could do 200. First, I do the username alone until I quit getting this message, and then I do the password until I quit getting that message. So this is a very common flaw, an overly informative error message that saves time for the attacker. So I want to try 100 possible usernames here. So I take this and I send it not to the repeater, but to the intruder. The intruder is what you do to try a list of things here. And down here, what you do is specify payload position. See, here's username and password. So I'm going to clear any section marks that are there. I tell it what to vary. And what it's going to vary is the username, which is the A there. So I highlight that and add section marks. I want to vary that, but always leave the password fixed. And now I can go to attack type sniper. This is a sniper attack where you just replace one parameter with a series of values. So I go to the payloads and I can paste in a list of payloads here. So I go to my usernames and highlight them all. Copy them. And then I paste them into burp here. So now I've got those, and now I'm ready. Now I just start the attack. And it's going to warn me that the attack runs slower in the free version than it would in the pay version, but it's fast enough to do 100. And there you go. And now what it's doing is trying all those passwords, and you see it's done 17 out of 101, 20 out of 101. And what you do is you look at the status code and the length of the response. And all these ones that are the same are telling me invalid username, and one of them will be different. It'll have a different length or a different status code. So I can just let it run and eyeball it, or I can sort by this parameter to make the one that's bigger or smaller rise to the top. I don't think I've seen a different one yet. I'm just eyeballing it. It's easy enough to run your eye down this list and see if the 8 ever changes to something else. And burp used to really cripple the free version, so it ran really slowly, and they've sped it up, so you see 100 is really not taking too much time at all. So I appreciate that. There used to be an extension called Turbo Intruder that was really fast. It doesn't seem to work anymore. But anyway, the free version is plenty fast enough to do these labs, and that's all I care about. And by the way, you can just write Python scripts to do these things. All burp is just a sort of a fun little GUI for some simple Python scripts. It's handy. Well, it looks like they're all 3248 here, and I'm up to 94, so maybe my eyeballing trick didn't work too well. I'll just let it finish and then try sorting it. Oh, there it is, 3250, right towards the end. That's the one that's different. And by the way, if you want to verify it, you can click it and then examine the request and response. This one, the response said, I think it'll say incorrect password, see? And the other ones all say invalid username. So this is the correct username, auction. So now, to find the password, I just do the same thing again. I know the right username is auction, so I close this attack. I discard it. And now I go to my intruder. On the positions, I know the username is auction, so I'm going to clear these section marks and change the username to auction. And now I'm going to try all the passwords. So I highlight the password letter, add a section mark, start the attack. Oh, not start the attack. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. I'm just going to stop it and discard, because I hadn't put in the right values yet. I have to put in I have to clear this. Those are usernames. I have to put in the passwords, which is here. Okay, there's my passwords. Okay. Copy. And paste there. Now I'm ready to start the attack. All right. And there it goes. And once again, when it gets in, I'm probably going to see a 302. Usually you have a 302 redirect after a successful login. So the status will be different, and also the length of the response will probably be different, probably much shorter. This 3250 is sending a whole web page to me saying incorrect password, and the 302 redirect is going to be much smaller. So there it is, 189, 302. So the right password is Harley. So now I'm done. It's auction and Harley. So I should be able to log into the page. Auction and Harley. And it randomizes this for every student, so that's pretty nice. There we are, I'm in. And so I win. So that's the simplest brute force attack in Burp, and you can see why people love this and they'll pay $300 for it. It's not messing around. You can totally break in. And there's a bunch more of these with various difficulties. Let's take a look at the two-factor authentication bypass, because that's the next thing. Of course, what everybody will tell you is you should use two-factor authentication to block this attack. And that's true. But if you don't do two-factor authentication very well, it's not very effective. So let's see how this bypass works. Here, I got some credentials, and I have the victim's credentials. Okay, so I have their username and password, and I guess I'm going to just defeat the two-factor authentication code. So log into your account, and you get your two-factor authentication code by email. So let's try that. Wiener Peter is me. So I go to my account, and I put in Wiener and Peter. Okay, and log in. And now I need a 4-digit code, so I have to go to the email client. And that shows my 4-digit code is 0188. Okay, so I have to put in 0188, and I get in. Okay, so now what am I going to do? I'm going to log out, log in using victim's credentials. When I prompt for the verification code, oh, this is really simple. This is insecure direct object access. Notice that now that I'm in, I go to my account, ID equals Wiener. And so I just have to record this URL. I'm going to bypass it. This is good. Okay, so I log out, and then I log in as Carlos Montoya. Okay, and now it asks me for the two-factor authentication code, but it was going to log in too. Now instead, I just go to my account, and I'm in. So this is a real common flaw where you have a barrier but the barrier doesn't actually have any teeth. It just, they're hoping you won't find the page beyond it. You can go past the barrier to the next page. This page doesn't verify that I've completed the login process. This is a real common flaw. You'll find it in the Web Application Hacker's Handbook, that if you have a multi-step process, you have to consider that people might skip a step or do them out of order or things like that. And you have, the right way to fix this is every page should have a hidden field on it with a random number, and you should verify that before you go to the next page, so that you make sure they really are processing your pages in order and not skipping. So that's a good one. All right. And I think that's enough of that to get you started. I'll stop this recording.